It's a preseason exhibition version of the Battle of I-94 as the Prowlers travel south to visit the Motor City Rockers. Good evening, everybody. Will Wiggleman here at Big Boy Arena, welcoming you in to the first broadcast of the season on the PHP Network as the Prowlers and Rockers, two teams that have had a lot of turnover this offseason, send their guys onto the ice to try and secure some final roster spots in this preseason exhibition. Some of these guys will only be playing one game with these teams, and that will be tonight. Some of them might stick around for the entire season. But to see it all, you'll have to stay right here. We'll have much more for you on the pregame show next. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. It is hockey season once again. Even if this one's just a pregame exhibition, we are excited here on the PHP Network. There's excitement in the building. Prowlers fans, Rockers fans lining the stands. We have camera work from the Motor City Rockers crew. They're giving us their camera this evening, and we're very excited about that because of all of the well-documented difficulties running cameras here over the past couple of years. Lots of exciting things to look forward to this season. My name is Will Wiggleman. If you haven't met me yet, I'm your play-by-play broadcaster for the Port Huron Prowlers. This will be my third season with the team, and I am so excited to bring it to you every single night. Home games, road games. Be sure to tune in right here on the PHP Network. All 56 games. We'll have them all right here. Well, the Prowlers and Rockers, as I mentioned in the open, both very different looking rosters this season versus last year, and there will be a lot of intrigue going on with the players that are playing in tonight's game. A lot of rookies, some guys that have come from other teams. So very, very interesting game that we have in front of us as they are cleaning the ice, and we are just about 10 minutes from puck drop. But I spoke with Prowlers head coach Matt Graham just a few minutes ago about all of that. And that was Prowlers head coach Matt Graham. And the two goaltenders he was referencing tonight, we'll see it on the starting lineup coming up in just a few minutes, is Yoshihiro Kiriowa and Patrick Alto, who will be the two netminders dressed tonight. Makar Sokolov and Valtteri Nusiainen have both been scratched tonight, and what that tells me, again, this is a preseason exhibition game. It means that Matt Graham and Alex Johnson, the coaching staff, they've seen all they need to see from those two guys, and it's very, very likely that that means that those two guys are on the team, and Kiriowa and Patrick Alto are battling for that final and third goalie spot on the roster. And by the way, Yoshihiro Kiriowa will be known henceforth as Yoshi, because that's a lot easier for me to say, and he gave me permission, so I will be calling him Yoshi throughout the season as long as he is here. But not only did both of these rosters change, but the FPHL changed significantly during this off season as we look at what the standings will be for this season. And the Prowlers, they move from the Continental Division to the Empire Division. They rejoin the Motor City Rockers after the two teams were in separate divisions last season for some reason. And now they're in the more northern division. They're with Denbury, Binghamton, and Watertown, along with the moved and relocated Elmira River Sharks, now the Hudson Valley Venom, and the expansion Dashers Hockey. They are not the Danville Dashers. We've been told to not call them the Danville Dashers, so they are Dashers Hockey as far as anyone is concerned. The Dashers of Danville, Illinois, but the second iteration of that franchise, no connection to the first iteration, the Danville Dashers. But over in the Continental Division, you have a couple of expansion teams, the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Monroe Moccasins, who played last night. Athens got the victory. Both of those teams ended up wearing white jerseys. Hopefully tonight they're able to figure out that one team is supposed to wear dark and one team is supposed to wear light, but we'll see. They are new to the league, so still certainly a learning curve for those new teams. But along with them, the Mississippi Seawolves, who changed their logo. They're now going with a more teal and purple type of look. They're in there along with another teal team, the Columbus River Dragons, and of course the Carolina Thunderbirds, Blue Ridge Bobcats, and Baton Rouge Zydeco still holding things down in the Continental Division. So lots of changes, and again, 2 games last night, regular season games. There are 2 more regular season games tonight with the same teams going on. Binghamton defeated Watertown last night, Athens over Monroe, and those 2 matchups will go again this evening. But as we turn our attention back to our game here, and we look to the other side of the rink in the Motor City Rockers, a former Prowler, looks to be a top forward there, Sam Gagnon. He only got into 3 games last year for Port Huron, but over his career, last 2 years with the Prowlers, 16 points in 34 games. And the Rockers are a team that lost a lot of talent up front. You talk about Scott Kowash and Declan Conway, who were traded away, TJ Delaney, TJ Sneath, Tristan Wells, all of these guys who are not in camp. Pavel Spintsov, who was their assist leader last year, who are not in camp, is a very, very different team this year. And Gagnon with an opportunity to be a big part of it and really show what he can do, trying to lead the offensive attack as one of the more experienced guys up front. Meanwhile, for the Prowlers, they have a lot of new players, as we mentioned. One of them, this guy, Ludwig Thellstrom from Sweden, from Stockholm. Thellstrom played outside of his native Sweden last year for the very first time. He was in France's 3rd division with Reims. Now he comes to America. He said he has only been to New York once before coming here to Port Huron, but he has a great opportunity, as you see, over a point per game with Reims last season. And Matt Graham mentioned him pretty early on in my conversation with him earlier on tonight, and he's going to have a good opportunity as well, as he is paired up on the top defense pairing for the Prowlers with Brian Parsons, the veteran defenseman, Brett Lockhart, who, if Parsons and Thelstrom stick together for the regular season, Brett Lockhart, who's on that second pairing, will likely slot in with Alex Johnson. He's the other returner on this defense. But tonight, he will play with Nikita Pecheritsin, the rookie Russian. Finally, the third pairing of AJ Basic and Eric McDermott. And then Sean Doyle, who the Prowlers signed today, who played with the Kalkaska Battlers last season. He is listed as the 7th defenseman. Meanwhile, up front, a guy who Matt Graham and Alex Johnson have raved about to me throughout this training camp, Isaiah Paris. Big body. He's listed at 6'2", 220 pounds. And he can be a wrecking ball, has a pretty good shot as well, and he knows how to use his size to get to the net. He'll play with returners Tucker Scantleberry and Daniel Chartrand on that top line. The only other guy in this lineup with FPHL experience, at least up front, is Luke James, as he played a few games last season before losing the rest of his campaign to injury with the Elmira River Sharks. He centers Gavin Fleck and Elliot Van Orsdale, and then Christian Stoller, Noah McNutt, and Brennan Wallace are the third line. We'll pause tonight for our national anthem here from Big Boy Arena. And that is tonight's national anthem from Big Boy Arena, as we take a look at our starting goaltending matchup for this evening, as Yoshi and Bryn Sommerfeld go at it tonight. Yoshi has experience with 7 teams in 5 leagues in 5 different countries. This is his 10th professional season out of the 31-year-old out of Sapporo, Japan. Celebrated his 31st birthday earlier this week. And he will be going up against the rookie Sommerfeld, at least to start. He played for Michigan State's ACHA Division III team, and he put up some very good numbers. And now he gets an opportunity at the pro ranks. We are underway in tonight's exhibition matchup from Big Boy Arena, as it's worked down into the Prowlers' end early on, battled for in the corner and swung over to the far side. The former Prowler Sam Gagnon closed off there by Tucker Scantleberry. Try and work it towards the net. Gagnon lost the handle to Isaiah Paris, and now Ludwig Thelstrom lofts it down the ice. Puck rolling, spinning, icing waved off, so the veteran Josh Colton gets in there to move it up the wall. Cut off by Chartrand, try to turn it towards the front. Paris towards the net, and it was taken out by Sommerfeld. Some physicality on this first shift from the Prowlers' top line of Scantleberry, Paris, and Chartrand, as Port Huron begins a change, and it's wrapped around behind the net to Colton. Josh Colton in his third year with the Rockers led all defensemen for Motor City in assists and points last year. This one is dumped in. Ryan Rotundi tried to work it back to the point. Prowlers work it out. Here comes Gavin Fleck one-on-one with Tim Delaney. His long-range try along the ice, stopped by Sommerfeld. Fleck behind the net, trying to put it out in front. Luke James was there. He'll hustle after the puck on the near side wall. Soft dump out by Avery Smith, who was a collegiate signing out of Indiana Tech last year. Showed a lot of toughness. He's not fun to play against. And he will try and make a big impact on this team this year for Motor City. Dumped in by Elliot Van Orsdale as the Prowlers get a change. And now working his way out is Aiden Conchar. Conchar gets the red line, bounces it off the boards, and it's behind the Prowler net. And Doyle throws a hit there on James Kakos, the 34-year-old. That one sent all the way into Prowler territory, but from the Motor City side of center. So icing called against the Rockers just over 2 minutes in. Prowlers with the first 3 shots of the game, all turned aside by Sommerfeld, but you see Yoshi there. He actually does have Yoshi, the Super Mario character, on the right side of his helmet. It's certainly not a new nickname for him. Prowlers have the top line out there right now as Chartrand tried to force it towards the net, and now he recollects behind. Hassled there by Kieran Carlisle, and now it's Paris working in the corner. Chartrand on the far side. It's sent back into Paris. Chris Byes took him into the wall. Now sent towards the net. I think that may have just gone wide. Chartrand back in front. They score! Off of Tucker Scantleberry and in. And the Prowlers get the first goal of the game. Chartrand threw it back on net. And Tucker Scantleberry right on the doorstep. Saw it bounce off of him. And that took just 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the 2 returners hooking up for the first goal tonight. Scantleberry, 11 goals in 40 games last season. He's a guy who can take over the game just about any time he wants. A good forechecking from the Prowlers' top line. And it pays off as Yoshi steers that one behind the net. Prowlers try to dump it out. They have the third line out there of Stoller, McNutt, and Brennan Wallace, the twin brother of Prowlers goaltender Ian Wallace, who unfortunately will not be able to play this season. He's having a couple of hip surgeries, so we wish him all the best. But he has been around camp early on. As the Rockers with an offensive opportunity, sharp angle try, stopped by Yoshi. Pazika got tripped up there. That's Marian Pazika, the Slovakian, who draws the first penalty of the game, and it's Brian Parsons to the box. A Motor City power play early on in this one, and Matt Graham gets a chance to check out his penalty kill. Right now he has Chartrand, James, Pecheritsin, and Lockhart out there for the kill. Rockers have Avery Smith, looks like Clayton Hightower, Josh Colton, Mike Wynn, and Ryan Rotundi out there to start the man advantage as that one got through Colton and goes all the way down towards Sommerfeld. And he'll leave it for Wynn. Hooking officially the call against Brian Parsons as Lockhart hustles after the puck in his own corner. That actually was not touched, and icing called. Avery Smith went in hard on Lockhart. Was a little bit slow to his skates. Looks like he'll stay out there. Prowlers change up the forwards with Paris and Scantleberry for this offensive zone faceoff. 20 seconds gone on the Rockers man advantage. Wynn resets behind the Motor City goal. Watched by Paris. He'll step out to his left. Colton, rink-wide feed on the backhand, skated into by Smith. All the way around the net, moves it up the boards, and Colton collects at the line. Back down low towards Smith, watched by Lockhart. Smith gets it across to Wynn. And fed down to Rotundi, turns the corner, his shot stopped by Yoshi. As Scantleberry couldn't work it out. Finally the Prowlers do. Paris coming right in on Rotundi, forced him to move the puck, and Scantleberry turns and slaps it down ice. 53 seconds left to go on the PK for the Prowlers as Sommerfeld works it up to Conchar. Now Chris Bai slips his way into offensive territory, and a blocker save by Yoshi. That shot may have been deflected off the Prowlers defender's stick on the way there. Yoshi able to track it though. This time Yoshi tried to collect the dump in, couldn't do it. And Doyle slaps it off the glass all the way down, got past Will Campbell, number 13. Campbell, another collegiate signing out of Indiana Tech last year for Motor City. Only got into one game with the Rockers, but will look to play a bigger role this year. Buys, taken in by Doyle. Tim Delaney down the wall as the penalty expires on Parsons. The Prowlers PK 1-for-1 in this preseason. There's a turnover, but Elliot Van Orsdale couldn't do anything with it. This time he dumps it all the way down. That's going to be an icing. So he and the Prowlers will have to stay out there past this TV timeout. But Tucker Scantleberry has Port Huron on the board first in this exhibition. You are watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network, providing resources and funding to help start or grow your business. Small business support in participating Region 6 counties. Take advantage of the network's free training and events for entrepreneurs and small business owners. The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network aims to boost your chances of success. Learn more about the network's Small Business Cohort Program. With rentable workspaces, business coaching, training, and funding opportunities, it's time to become a client of the Eastern Michigan Small Business Network.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 1-0 Prowlers, 14-18 left to go in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Tucker Scantleberry, the only tally tonight. This is one of 3 exhibition games going on tonight in the FPHL. There are also 2 regular season games that do count for the standings tonight as well. We'll, of course, have our out-of-town scoreboard during each intermission report, as always. Here's Van Orsdale working his way in, drop for James. Sent around behind the net and whipped up the wall. Lockhart fresh off the bench keeps it in. That shot deflected. And over to the far side corner, Van Orsdale cycled it deep. It's taken back by Motor City. In deep on the forecheck there is Christian Stoller, number 38. Gagnon lofts it out. Petrovicin able to put it back to neutral ice. Brennan Wallace tried to move it up. And now trying to turn with it is McNutt. Long pass up toward Petrovicin. He took a bump after he deflected in. And Josh Colton collects behind his own net. Handoff for Pober. Up to Smith. Works his way in. Tried to dangle around Petrovicin, who stands him up. And then Smith goes right back after Nikita Petrovicin. Now Smith trying to flip pass towards Rotundi. That didn't work. How about the youngster Nikita Petrovicin against the bigger Avery Smith, not backing down. Now Smith winds and fires at a loose puck. It was rolling and hopping, so he didn't get all of it. and ended up just dropping in the near side corner. Tucker Scantleberry surrounded by a sea of purple jerseys, and it's pushed back by Wynn towards the Prowlers bench as Port Huron was in the midst of a change. Parsons, D to Lockhart. Lead pass towards Paris off his stick. Colton off the boards, couldn't get it out, and able to get back to neutral ice. Hightower. Dumped around by A.J. Basich, but I believe that hit a Prowler offside at the Motor City line. Basich, New Jersey native, played with the Philadelphia Little Flyers last season. 21 years old, trying to break into pro hockey. As Scantleberry takes this one off the face-off and dumps it around. Moved up to the far side wing. Scantleberry able to take it away. And then Buys lifts Paris's stick. And Buys working on Parsons. Able to dance his way by. Buys to the net. Backhand off the side of the cage. Yoshi may have gotten his pad on it as well. A fancy play by Chris Buys to get there. Here comes Paris the other direction. Outside try off the side of the cage. And Chartrand behind the net. Has Scantleberry in front. Couldn't get it there as Tim Delaney was on top of him. Chartrand in the far side corner, whips it towards the net right from the goal line. And Sommerfeld had to be ready, just got a piece. This first line has been off to a strong start for the Prowlers. Good forechecks, they have a goal already. As Ludwig Thelstrom takes it on the near side boards. It's forced out to center, and Thelstrom over to Parsons. Both teams making changes, and Luke James works in with speed. Working on Tim Delaney. James tried a centering feed, but the rest of his team still coming off the bench. Referee took a slip at center ice. Play continues as Basic sends a man into the boards near the Prowler bench. Gavin Fleck tried to curl and drag. Outside try. And now Basic in deep in front. Van Orsdell couldn't get that one to go. He missed wide. That won't count as a shot on goal. Carter Zalworthy moved it up along, and after it is Pazika, centering feed cut off by Doyle. And it's worked up to Van Orsdell, trying to find James, goes off his stick, ends up being a good dump. Prowlers getting new bodies on the ice as Carlisle fanned on a headman pass. Now Pazika at the red line, chips it along for Smith, has some room on the right wing side, his shot fought off by Yoshi. Think he got a piece. McNutt gets the red line, soft chip, and Josh Colton works it behind his own net. Now they'll try the left wing side, chipped up, and Lockhart takes it at his own blue line. Petcheritsin up towards McNutt, trying to send Stoller on his way. Rockers take it back though, past the midway point of this opening period, 1-0 Prowlers. Ryan Rotundi into offensive territory, little back pass to Hightower. Reversed straight up the wall, Colton from the line. That shot didn't get all the way through. Hightower in front, they score. A backdoor pass to Ryan Rotundi has tied this game up at 1. And nice hands from Clay Hightower. Dangling a little bit in a phone booth there as he found the loose puck, and Rotundi behind everybody, able to get that one to go. He had 1 goal in 35 games last year, did Rotundi. And how about Clay Hightower? He had an assist in the preseason game last year and an assist here tonight as well. Did not make the Rockers last year, but trying again this season. Prowlers look to respond. They have the top line on the ice. Chartrand dump right in on Sommerfeld, and he'll cover up with Paris bearing down. 19:18 to go in period 1. Prowlers and Rockers tied at 1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, Prowlers and Rockers knotted up at 1, and it's 2 returners with the goal scorers. Tucker Scantleberry for Port Huron, Ryan Rotundi for Motor City. Offensive zone draw coming for the Prowlers here to bring Sommerfeld right. Sommerfeld 5 for 6 so far tonight. And same for Yoshi on the other side. As Coach Graham said in the pregame show, we will likely see both goaltenders tonight, both Yoshihiro Kuriowa for the Prowlers and Patrick Alto as well, as they'll split this game. This one moved to center. Coming back for it was Paris. And now he takes the return feed from Chartrand. Paris on the outside, tried a little spinorama pass. Instead ends up on the stick of Buys. 1-on-2, and his shot blocked by Parsons to the corner. Chartrand comes back to rescue that puck. There's to move his way up the wall. Tim Delaney gave it away to Scantleberry. Has a man going towards the net, tried to float it there. It was Fleck, but too much sauce on it. Doyle takes a look and dumps it around. Will Campbell dangerously in front of his own net. Puck's there. Fleck! Kick save by Sommerfeld. James in front. Fleck again. Stopped by Sommerfeld. Scantleberry tied himself up as the puck got lost in his skates as he was trying to turn it towards the net. We approach 8 minutes to go in period 1. Basic in a battle behind the net. James able to work it up to Fleck. And Gavin Fleck with a cross-corner dump. First on it is Carlisle. Quick up to Pazika. Now Rotundi on net. Easily held onto by Yoshi. 7:38 left to go in period 1. Defensive zone faceoff. This time will be taken by Brennan Wallace. Rockers able to take it off the tie-up, but that pass off the skate of its intended target. Dump back around in Prowler territory where Pechoritsin takes over. McNutt couldn't get it out. Pechoritsin stands up Smith. And it looks like the back referee has a penalty. They're pointing to Avery Smith, I believe. Cross-checking was the signal, and Prowlers will get their first opportunity on the power play as the Smith-Pechoritsin rivalry heats up. And Avery Smith punching the glass, not happy with that call. Referees tonight, John Taliu and Cody Lang. The linesmen, David Fleming and Brandon Badens. Prowlers have Chartrand, McNutt, Scantleberry, Thelstrom, and Fleck as their first power play unit. McNutt will take the face-off against Sam Gagnon. It's Gagnon, Pazika, Wynn, and Colton, the penalty killers for Motor City. Thelstrom, one-timer off a body in front, may have been McNutt. Thelstrom makes a move at the line able to push it along. Scantlebury across Fleck, a shot, stopped by Sommerfeld. As Gavin Fleck took a second to catch that puck before he shot it, and Brent Sommerfeld with enough time to get over and make the save. A good seam pass there from Tucker Scantlebury from left to right. As the Prowlers man advantage continues, here's Thelstrom over to Scantlebury. Back to the top, Thelstrom has Elaney, shoots, and it's blockered away. Thelstrom again, over to Fleck, winds and fires in and out of the catching glove, and then covered by Sommerfeld. Minute 22 left to go on the penalty to Avery Smith. Prowlers switch up the unit. It's James, Paris, Lockhart, Parsons, and whoever's on the near side wall, it's Van Orsdel. Paris able to chip it by Colton. He gets in, has a man going to the net. Paris took the shot, but he couldn't find the target. Lockhart over to Parsons. Lockhart, now Van Orsdel, center to James, and a blocker save. Prowlers getting some good looks on this man advantage. Van Orsdel cross off a stick. Lockhart comes in to take it. Now Parsons down low. Van Orsdel shot. Stopped by Sommerfeld, and he's able to cover up. 45 seconds on the penalty to Avery Smith. Both units have had some good chances for Port Huron so far. Power play and penalty kill as well. Special teams, a rough patch for the Prowlers last season. And on the other side for the Rockers, a big strength. As Lockhart plays it down the wall, and Tim Delaney takes it. He'll skate it out. Now he zooms back to his own end to waste some time, backhands it up the wall. Van Orsdel able to slip a couple of Rockers and get into offensive territory. Sent it back towards Lockhart, but out of his reach and out of the zone. Lockhart up to James, has Lockhart going to the net, got it back there. Lockhart got a shot away, steered away easily by Sommerfeld. Parsons kept it in at the line. Van Orsdel, as we're back to 5-on-5, just got it deep. Now both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage so far. Scantlebury with a steal, turn, shoots, and it's eaten up by Bryn Sommerfeld. Someone's got to kick Scott Brand out of this press box before he starts touching my stuff. Just over 5 minutes left to go in period 1. Shot 16-6 in favor of Port Huron, as Brennan Wallace able to win this face-off. Rimmed all the way around. Out come the Rockers. It's Pazika. Has Gagnon going to the net, but they couldn't link up. Basic may have interfered with that pass just enough. Now Gagnon with a steal. Dumps it around behind the net. Comes over to the near side. Zarwartney put it around back to the other side. McNutt tried to hand it off, and it's chipped along by Doyle. Carlisle, quick up. Dumped around by Pazika. Rockers making a wholesale change as Scantlebury slowed things down behind his own net with 4:20 to go in period 1. Scantlebury through center, makes a move over to Paris. Outside shot, rose too tall. Short train back towards the net, and this one handled by Sommerfeld. Just over 4 to play in the Munger Physical Therapy first period. Still tied at 1 at Big Boy Arena. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Live where you work where you play. Is your work commute making you miserable? Quit the commute. Explore hot jobs in St. Clair County paying $40,000 to $100,000 or more. Visit stclairhotjobs.com. Spend more time doing what you love. If you're not currently living in St. Clair County, or you know friends or family that moved away but are ready to come back, Then visit stclairhotjobs.com to find a new job and make the move.
Back here in Fraser, 4:08 left to go in period number 1. Prowlers and Rockers tied up at 1 in the first and only exhibition game for these two teams this season. Second year in a row they've played an exhibition. Last year, a 4-2 Rockers win up at McMorran Place. 13 of the Prowlers that played in that game ended up playing at least one regular season game for Port Huron, and we'll see if that number can be matched by the group out there tonight. Brian Parsons behind his own net. Thelstrom got run over by Smith. Thelstrom wasn't the one with the puck though, and Avery Smith gets to go back to the penalty box. They'll call it a cross check. I think interference is more likely what the call should be, but either way, it's the Prowlers' second man advantage of the night. They're 0 for 1 so far. They finished tied 7th in the FPHL last season at 20.1%. That's certainly an area that they'll look to improve upon this year. Got some good looks on that first man advantage, but couldn't score. And this one slips by Lockhart. Off to the races is Hightower. Parsons able to come back to defend, but the arm is up in the air for a penalty. Slashing is the signal. And after just 17 seconds, we'll get some 4-on-4. Both Brian Parsons and Avery Smith sitting in the box for the second time this period. And we get to see all situations in the preseason, just as the coaching staffs drew it up. Get to see all situations for their teams. As Buys and James set for this face-off. James took a bump, but he's able to move it along to Van Orsdell. He doesn't have any help, but he'll try and do it himself. And Orsdell dragged to the backhand, couldn't pick it up on the other side. He's ridden into the corner boards by Wynn. Rotundi slows up. Tries to work in over the blue line, he does, but Buys a little too anxious to get in. Offside is the call. And looks like Ryan Rotundi playing a bit of a forwards role in tonight's game. I've seen him up front for most of these face-offs. And many of these shifts. Played defense last year and is a natural defenseman as long as he's played in this league. This one chipped along, Fleck racing after it, backhander, score! Sommerfeld got most of it, but not all. It just slips over the line, and Gavin Fleck has restored the lead for the Prowlers. Scantleberry with a nice pass. He has a 2-point night now, and Fleck, who's playing in his 5th pro season, his first in North America, and he led his squad last season in Germany's 4th division with 19 goals in 18 games. He has his first of this preseason. The Prowlers with the lead, still 50 seconds of 4-on-4 before a very brief Motor City power play. This one's floated across where Thelstrom skates into it. Back in front, and Fleck couldn't find the target there. Not sure if that hit a body on the way through or not. Thelstrom, the defenseman, deep in the corner. Out high it goes to Doyle. Back towards Thelstrom as he works his way back up top. Now Fleck trying from a sharp angle, shouldered away. Stepping out with it is Carlisle. Lots of skating space for him. And now he'll pass off to Conchar. Trying to dangle towards the middle of the ice, taken off his stick by Fleck. Soft dump out as the final seconds of Smith's penalty are ticking off the board. It'll be a very brief Rockers power play starting now. Wynn watched by Chartrand. And Mike Wynn hangs out behind his own net as the final seconds of Parsons' penalty tick off. That one out of the reach of Smith. We're back to 5-on-5 with 90 seconds to go in period one. Wynn at his own blue line. Cross corner dump. Hit Paris, but landed right on Pazitka's stick. Pazika to the front, slips through a check, but he couldn't get the shot away. As Stoller looks to start a rush, Lockhart jumping in. Tried to feed a pass to the middle, couldn't do it. He's back on the puck and he cycles it down. Paris all the way around where Basic is waiting. To the net! And Paris was right there on the back door, just hopped over his stick. Smith read it towards the middle. Stoller trying to dump it back deep. He does. Port Huron makes some changes as Gagnon gives over to Colton. Bumped back this side. Loft pass, glove down by Hightower before he's knocked over by Petrovitsin. Hellstrom with 33 left in the period. That long pass tipped in by Chartrand. Rockers trying to work it out. Rotundi played it back towards Campbell. Buys a little reverse hit on Petrovitsin as the pass was coming up to him. And now Nikita will dump it from just about the red line. Sommerfeld leaves it there for Campbell in the final seconds. But the Prowlers' forecheck is tough. Started to get a turnover there, but couldn't feed the pass out in front. And that will do it for the opening 20 minutes of this preseason game. And it's Port Huron with a 2-1 lead on the Motor City Rockers. Shots on goal heavily favoring the Prowlers, 20-6, and no shots on net for Motor City since the goal. And that came with 9 minutes and 18 seconds to go in the frame. So a dominant period for Port Huron, especially the back half, but both teams 0 for 2 on the man advantage. And it's Port Huron with the lead. Well, stick around for our first intermission report, as we'll give you some notes about what's been going on around the Prowlers training camp. Take a look at some storylines around the league, some big breaking news going on earlier today. So we'll get into that, out-of-town scoreboard, game stats, and more. It's all coming up on the first intermission report right here on the PHP Network. And again, it is the Prowlers with the 2-1 lead. Well, the Prowlers are celebrating 10 seasons in Port Huron, and now is your chance to get limited edition 10th anniversary gear at the team store. Come find us on the west end of McMorran Arena at every home game or online anytime at prowlersmerch.com. You can scan the QR code on your screen now to visit the online shop. Look your POO best with gear from the Prowlers team store. That 10th anniversary gear will be in stock for the season opener. So be sure to check all of that out when the season opener comes around. Next week, Prowlers facing the Carolina Thunderbirds in their home openers. That will be a 2-game set, and you'll be able to get so much great stuff during that weekend. We'll step aside, but coming up on the first intermission report, and lots to do, and we'll have it for you, so don't go anywhere, right here on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
They're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. After 20 minutes of play of this preseason exhibition game, it's Prowlers 2 and Rockers 1. Will Wiggleman back with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Again, the first and only exhibition game for both of these teams this season. And it's been the returners that have shown up for both teams, as Ryan Rotundi and Tucker Scantleberry each have a goal, and then Scantleberry chipped in an assist on the other goal for the Prowlers. That was scored by Gavin Fleck. Sean Doyle picking up the other assist for the Port Huron Prowlers. But, of course, it's been an interesting training camp. And again, it's no secret that there were not a ton of skaters at the training camp this season for the Prowlers, and they have a lot of guys. Almost all of their camp is here skating in this game, but that just means more opportunities for guys who may have flown under the radar. You look at a guy like Elliot Van Orsdale, who started training camp with the Binghamton Black Bears, ended up being released and is now in Port Huron, and he could play a significant role on this team. You look at a guy like Isaiah Paris, 21-year-old rookie who got into just 10 games last year in the NCDC, battled injury, and he could have a significant role on this team. Luke James, who played with Elmira, was injured, didn't really get to show what he had last year. He could play a role on this team, so certainly plenty of opportunities to go around. And of course, Matt Graham said during the pregame interview with him that Nikita Petritsyn is a guy who was a pleasant surprise at training camp, one of the last signings of the offseason, right as training camp was beginning, and we saw what he can do. He has some kind of a physical game to him, as he was unafraid to go after Avery Smith, who has about 3 inches and 25 pounds on him. But he had no problem going back at Avery Smith a couple of times. So he's a guy who could also get himself a spot on this team with a strong performance here in this game. Of course, the battle was in net. And, of course, you have the incumbent Makar Sokolov, who is not dressed tonight. You have Valtteri Nusiainen, who is also not dressed tonight. So it's a battle here right now between Yoshihiro Kariowa and Patrick Alto, as they will both get an opportunity in this preseason game. And we'll see what happens early on next week when the teams the team cuts their roster down. Of course, they have announced they have Adam Heinzel, who will be back at some point on the back end. So lots of variables going on, but it's been a strong training camp. They had to actually start training camp over at Glacier Ice Arena because the ice at McMorran wasn't quite ready yet, but the ice looks beautiful now. It looks even better in person than in the pictures, so be sure to get down to McMorran at some point this season to check out the ice, check out all the 10th anniversary things that are going on, because it certainly is a big season for the Prowlers in their history and in league history. This is the 15th season in FPHL history, and the Prowlers, when they drop the puck on Friday, will become the first team in league history to play 10 consecutive seasons. And before people say, oh, but the Watertown Wolves have been around longer, the Wolves took off the 2015-16 season, which was the Prowlers' inaugural year, as they were getting their arena some improvements. So the Wolves have not played 10 consecutive seasons. That's a designation that will only be able to be attached to the Prowlers come next week. We'll have much more coming up on the rest of the intermission report. We'll take a look at some storylines, out-of-town scoreboard, and more. And we'll do it next right here on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. We're minutes away from period number 2 as the Prowlers and the Rockers play in their preseason game. Will Wiggleman again back with you on the PHP Network. But before we continue talking about tonight's game, let's take a look around the FPHL at some storylines going on around the league. And we'll start with the games from last night, the two games that actually meant something last night, as Chase Tabari scored the first goal of the regular season in the FPHL in Watertown. He was not ejected. That should be changed, but he scored the first goal of Watertown's 3-2 loss to the Binghamton Black Bears. Brad Ryder scored the first goal in Monroe Moccasins history. Of course, he scored the first goal in Motor City Rockers history 2 years ago, and that was a 3-2 Prowlers win. Raiders Monroe Moccasins were bested 7-2 last night by the Athens Rock Lobsters. But a big storyline that came down later today is after one game, Todd McElrath has been dismissed as head coach of the Moccasins, being replaced by Mo Levesque. So I guess 0-1, not good enough. They pull the trigger quickly on McElrath. We'll see if any more information comes out about that, but that is a very, very interesting development over in Monroe. And now we turn our attention to the other games on the slate tonight. And we start with, there are two going on right now and two coming up in just a couple of minutes. The one that matters that's going on right now, the Watertown Wolves and the Binghamton Black Bears knotted up at 1 apiece. Shewedden Blacksmith, power play goal for Watertown, and Blake Tosto, a shorthanded goal for Binghamton. The only markers, Black Bears out shooting the Wolves 20-7 at this point. The Mississippi Seawolves and Blue Ridge Bobcats in an exhibition over at Hitachi Energy Center in Wytheville. Colby Audette has the only goal there. Mississippi up 1-0 as they play in the first period, and then dropping the puck in just a couple of minutes. The Athens Rock Lobsters will face Monroe for the second straight night. Hopefully somebody wears a dark jersey this time, as last night they both wore white jerseys for some reason. But that game, again, will also matter for the standings. We also have an exhibition dropping the puck in just a couple of minutes as the Hudson Valley Venom host their first ever game. Again, just an exhibition as they host the Danbury Hat-Tricks. So both teams getting their prospects ready as well, just as the Prowlers and Rockers are here. Well, let's turn our attention back to this game as the Prowlers with that 2-1 lead, a dominant effort on the score sheet, a 21-6 lead in the shots on goal department. Both teams 0 for 2 on the man advantage. Of course, the second power play for both sides lasted just 17 seconds, so tough to judge the man advantage on that. But the Prowlers power play did get some very good opportunities. Both units passing the puck around very well, getting shots through to Bryn Sommerfeld, who looked sharp in that opening 20 minutes. He has 19 saves on 21 Prowlers shots. Yoshihiro Kadioa on the other side, 5 saves on 6 Motor City shots, and in that goal, not really one that he could do anything about, as it was a backdoor play to Ryan Rotundi. That is where they stand, as we're just a couple minutes away from puck drop for period number 2. As we take a look at our PHP Network trivia question, and it is in regards to some of the Prowlers signed today. Brennan Wallace, goaltender Ian Wallace's twin brother, playing tonight in this preseason matchup. We want to know if you can name the only set of twins that played together for the Port Huron Prowlers. So put your guesses in the comments section. Let's see if you can get it right. I had a much worse trivia question, maybe not much worse, a little bit worse trivia question prepared to go for tonight, but then the Prowlers signed Brennan Wallace, and his brother Ian was chatting about that, and we came up with the idea to make this the trivia question. So let's see if you can get it correct. Let's see if you can figure out the other set of twins, the only set of twins to play together in a game for the Port Huron Prowlers, as both teams should be set to hit the ice very shortly here at Big Boy Arena. And again, it's been a good contest so far. The Prowlers, again, with a lot of rookies, so have the Motor City Rockers. 10 players on this Rockers roster that's playing tonight, and 10 on the Prowlers roster as well out there tonight have not played any pro hockey. Some have played some semi-pro, but none have played regular season pro games. So big opportunities for some rookies here in this game as both teams getting set to go. Yoshi getting set in the goal crease to our right, and Bryn Sommerfeld clearing the ice in the goal crease to our left. The Prowlers look like they'll have their top line back out there to start this second period. Top line that was very dominant. Of course, you have experienced guys out there like Daniel Chartrand and Tucker Scantleberry flanking a big body in Isaiah Paris, who showed his ability to get up ice with some speed as well a couple of times in that first frame, but he also threw around the body with that big 6'2", 220-pound frame. And he'll take this second period opening face-off with Sam Gagnon. And we are just about set to go for the Hungry Howies second period. And we're underway, as the Prowlers will get the first opportunity of this frame, but Wynn looks to turn it back the other direction as Colton sets it up towards Gagnon. Parsons pushed it back the other direction. Colton fires it over to this side. Pazika comes down for it. And Thelstrom recollects at center. Up to Scantleberry. Tried to send Paris in. They couldn't connect. And it's covered up by Sommerfeld. 30 seconds gone in period 2. And both teams will make their first changes. Rockers, of course, with a brand new coach, Steve Shannon, hired on Wednesday after Gordy Brown stepped down. Shannon has led a couple of teams in Big Boy Arena, as well as one up at McMorran Place. He spent part of a season as the head coach of the Fighting Falcons in Port Huron, and he also led the Motor City Mechanics for a year and the Detroit Dragons for a year, but never spent more than one season with the team as their head coach. And of course, taking over a pretty tough situation, a lot of talent leaving that Motor City locker room. And then he gets thrust into the role just days before the first preseason game and about a week and a half before the first regular season game. We'll see what he can do with this pretty young team. Ryan Rotundi, one of the more experienced guys, turns and dumps this one in. Petrovitsin fighting off checks from Avery Smith. Petrovitsin upended and ended up sliding and taking out Kenkos. Lockhart collects the puck behind his own net. Off the glass, ducking around it was Fleck. He couldn't get it out. Rockers get it around deep. Buys out in front, lost the handle. And now McNutt, surrounded by purple sweaters, trying to make a move, taking off his stick. And the Rockers look to move up ice. Pass was behind Buys. He had to come back for it, and he took a hit for his trouble. Forced back up the wall. Buys a shot. Save made by Yoshi. As Chris Buys had a lane to the net right in the face-off circle. Mike Wynn goes D-to-D to Zatwortney. Try to lead pass, cut off by Lockhart. Makes a move, gets in, fired a pass across, too far ahead of Chartrand, turns and fires. And it's stopped by Sommerfeld. That pass just out of Pazika's reach. Goes all the way down, icing waved off. As Pazika in on the forecheck on Basic. Basic right in front of his own net to Doyle. He just puts it back to the wall, and the Rockers recollect. Colton walks the line over to Wynn. Rister knocked down in front, and Yoshi made the save. Not out of danger yet, as that one backhanded wide by Zatworthney. That first shot from the line was deflected, and Yoshi able to react and make the save. Here's Scantleberry towards Paris. He was locked up by a stickless Mike Wynn. Puck came to Wynn, knocked down by Paris. Zatworthney across. Pazika trying to turn on a couple of Prowlers. He's able to move it forward. And into offensive territory come the Rockers. Touched over to Smith. Turnaround try. Couldn't get the shot off as Parsons was draped all over him. To a side scrum in the corner. Thelstrom takes down his man. Puck comes back over to the near side. Chartrand slides it up the wall. From the point, the wrist shot, kick saving beauty from Yoshi. Through some traffic. That was Campbell that let it go from the blue line with plenty of bodies in front. Now it's Tim Delaney. Back down the wall, got through Smith. First on it is Motor City. A D-to-D pass, Delaney down and around. Smith looking for a pass in front. All he found was Chartrand. And he gets it to Scantleberry, who dances around Campbell. Scantleberry turning on the Jets. Down low to Chartrand. He didn't get all of that shot, kind of fanned on it. Puck sent back to Prowler ice. Lockhart trying for a quick up. With the Rockers in the midst of a change, they get to Van Orsdale. Just tips it in on Sommerfeld. He keeps it moving. Lots of action so far in this second period as Buys stood up there by Petritsyn. They work off the wall. Buys now sent to the point, but taken away by Fleck. He starts a rush. Van Orsdale into offensive territory. His shot just goes wide. Prowlers just did stay on side on that zone entry. Back the other way, it's dumped in by Kikos. Van Orsdale across towards Fleck, has to recollect off the boards. And Gavin Fleck takes a hard hit. Right in front of the benches, it's dumped around. Port Huron makes some changes. Pober over to the near side, and it's taken away. In front, and a save made on McNutt by Sommerfeld. So the Prowlers were able to force a turnover and get the puck to a scoring area. Here comes Pazika, all by himself, and his shot right into the chest of Yoshihiro Kuriowa. Just under 6 minutes gone in the Hungry Howie's second period. Prowlers still up 2-1. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network, providing resources and funding to help start or grow your business. Small business support in participating Region 6 counties. Take advantage of the network's free training and events for entrepreneurs and small business owners. The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network aims to boost your chances of success. Learn more about the network's small business cohort program. With rentable workspaces, business coaching, training, and funding opportunities, it's time to become a client of the Eastern Michigan Small Business Network.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here in Fraser, 2-1 Prowlers, 14:03 left to go in period number 2. Seen some up and down action, not too many whistles in this middle frame, but the goaltenders have been strong. Rockers have had the better of the play so far in this frame, outshooting the Prowlers early on, 5-4, but they've had some good opportunities through traffic, and Yoshi has had to be sharp in the net down to our right. As Smith wins this face-off for the Motor City. That shot stopped by Yoshi. Wasn't sure where it was for a moment. It's cleared out. Now Rotundi. Back around to the near side. Smith after it. Tried to work it back to the point. Colton just did keep it in. Hightower one hands it along, and that shot right on the ice. Slipped through the crease and wide. The scrum ensues on the near side wall. And finally Hightower able to pop out with it. Hightower back pass in front, only found Prowler's sticks, and McNutt headman feed towards Stoller. He catches up to it, watched by Wynn, waits for help, gets it to McNutt to the net, and he couldn't get a shot away as Noah McNutt danced his way to the blue paint. Paris had his shot go wide. Now Thelstrom works in from his defensive position, absorbs a couple of checks. Paris in front, Shorttrand scores! Ludwig Thelstrom got the play started. Nice pass from Isaiah Paris, and the finish from Daniel Shorttrand. Prowlers make it a 3-1 lead. And Thelstrom absorbed a hit from a couple of Rockers before tossing that puck off to Paris. Head up play, and Shorttrand all by himself had enough time to make that move to the backhand and beat Sommerfeld. And that doubles the Prowlers' advantage, and another goal for that top line for Port Huron. Colton. And that one taken by Scantleberry. And he works it over to Doyle on the near side. Turns and fires it around. Sommerfeld hands it off to Colton. Now Josh Colton, watched by Paris, moves off to Wynn. Scantleberry harasses Mike Wynn. And now Wynn's pass up to Buys was behind him. Delayed offside. Prowlers touch up as Colton retreats behind his own cage, watched by James. Long lead pass misses everybody, and that is an icing against Motor City. So the Prowlers forecheck continuing to do some work here, and Motor City unable to get out of their own end, and they force the icing. Some tired Rockers out there on the ice as Luke James gets set to draw with Chris Buys. Van Orsdale tried to force it back down the wall. He did. James to the net, steered away by Sommerfeld. Doyle steps into the puck, but that went off a stick and wide. Wynn off the glass all the way down, and we'll have another icing. Right now, they're just giving Isaiah Paris the only assist on that goal by Shorttrand, but I think Ludwig Thelstrom deserves one as well. We'll see if they change it. Off the faceoff, James tried to go forward with it, almost got to the net. Van Orsdale tracks it down, gets it over to Lockhart, and Van Orsdale again slipped one along the ice, couldn't find the target. That one goes off the glass all the way down again. This time won't go all the way for icing. That one hopped up on Lockhart and it's dumped back into Rocker territory. And now they add Thelstrom's name to that goal. He gets the secondary assist as the Rockers dump this one back around. Petroditsin lost it in the corner. Walking the line, the wrist shot didn't get all the way through, off the stick of Campbell. Pizika turning in the corner. Pass out to Campbell, interrupted by the stick of Fleck, and he's off to the races. 2-on-1, Fleck across McNutt, swung and missed. And then McNutt is flattened in the corner by Campbell. They'll blow it dead. Interference being called against Will Campbell as McNutt did not have control of that puck. So the Rockers back to the PK. Prowlers get their third power play of the game. And a chance to go up by 3. Port Huron sending out the unit of Chartrand, Scantlebury, Fleck, Thelstrom, and McNutt. And Noah McNutt, who drew the penalty, takes the faceoff and he wins it. Port Huron sets up. Scantlebury off the near side half wall, takes the shot, shoulder save by Sommerfeld. This one sent all the way down. First clear of the PK for Motor City. Prowlers 0 for 2 at this point. But again, they've had good looks. Scantlebury races up the left wing wall, gets to the net, but couldn't get the shot away. As Motor City looks to clear. But a good stick there, keep it alive at least momentarily. Does bounce out to center. Stoller settles things down. Chartrand trying to bounce pass in, ends up back on his stick, and saucers it over to Fleck. Fleck to the middle of the ice. His shot just whistled wide on the short side. As he went back against the grain with his shot, Prowler's going to be whistled for too many men on the ice. As Thelstrom tried to make a pass back over to Fleck. He was getting off. Van Orsdale got on, and he touched the and Van Orsdale touched the puck before Fleck was off. So that'll negate the rest of the Prowlers' power play of 1:03 of 4-on-4 and then 57 seconds of Motor City man advantage time. Second time in this game, the Prowlers have negated part of their own power play with a penalty. We'll start the 4-on-4 down in Port Huron territory to Yoshi's left. Face off one back by Buys. Here's Colton, watched by James. Gives it over to Wynn. Now back to Colton. Scrum ensues on the near side half wall. Van Orsdale was flying the zone looking for the pass. And now James trying to catch up to it. Wynn beats him there though. That's sent back in. Yoshi out of his net to play it. He forces it back up the near side wall. Van Orsdale skates into it. He comes up with speed. Van Orsdale cuts to the middle. His shot right into the catching glove of Bryn Sommerfeld. And we'll get a whistle and a face-off and a timeout with 9:03 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
back here at Big Boy Arena. We have our first goalie change of the night as the Rockers switch out Sommerfeld for Noah Makish. Sommerfeld ends his night with a very good, or a very solid 27 for 30. 27 saves on 30 shots. Makish comes in after playing last season with Newman University's AAU club team. He posted an 8-5-2 record, .299 goals against average, and a .912 save percentage, along with a couple of shutouts. And for those who don't know, AAU is a new club league, kind of like the ACHA. As win to the net, stopped by Yoshi, but it sneaks in. As Wynn drove the crease, may have been some contact there with Yoshi, but it's enough to get the Rockers back within one. And the returner stepping up again for Motor City, Mike Wynn, who's in his 4th FPHL season. Power move to the net. Looks like Yoshi got spun around a little bit as he made the save, and the puck just snuck through. So Mike Wynn gets the Rockers back within one, and now Motor City was about to go on a man advantage, but then Paris was taken down. Parsons wants at Rotundi. Paris is not a guy you want to mess with, and Brian Parsons certainly will chirp and get after a guy like Ryan Rotundi. He's not afraid to do it. Tripping is the signal against Ryan Rotundi. He shakes his head, not happy with the call. Tucker Scantleberry over there chatting with the referee. Scantleberry hasn't exactly been announced yet. I guess I'll announce it now. Scantleberry will be wearing an A this season for the Port Huron Prowlers. Austin Federley, of course, already announced as the new captain. Actually, that wasn't the tripping signal, that was the kneeing signal. Kneeing is the call I see on there. So we're back to 4-on-4 for the next 56 seconds before 1 minute and 4 seconds of Prowlers power play time. Lots of opportunities for the coaching staffs to see the 4-on-4 groups for their club. Scantleberry wins this one cleanly back. Lockhart takes it at the blue line, floats it across to Petroritsin. Down towards Shartrand, turning on Campbell. Shartrand works behind the net, over towards Scantleberry. Up the wall, Petroritsin, who led the Almaguin Spartans in the GMHL in assists last season. Petroritsin does have some pro experience. He played pro in Estonia and Turkey before finishing up his junior career last year in the GMHL, as that one just does go for icing. Avery Smith doesn't agree. We have 15 seconds left on the penalty to Gavin Fleck, the too many men on the ice that he is serving, and then it will be an abbreviated Prowlers power play. And then maybe after that we can get some 5-on-5 action. Fellstrom fights through a check all the way around the cage. Try to feed it up high, gets it to Parsons, across to Stoller covering the point. Now it's a Prowlers man advantage. As Keikos looks to work it out. Here comes Avery Smith shorthanded. Good poke by Fellstrom. Fellstrom now going to skate it up. He gets it over to the near side to James. To the trailer. Paris has shot off of Avery Smith. Working down the wall is Fellstrom. He's shown he's not afraid to get in deep in the offensive zone and can certainly fight through some checks. Parsons had his pass come back to him. Over to Van Orsdell. His shot gloved down by Makish. He wasn't sure if he had it as he tried to cover up, but he does. And he'll get a whistle and a face-off with 6:47 left to go in period number 2. Ten seconds left on the penalty to Rotundi. And then hopefully we can get a little 5-on-5 play going. Face-off tied up at the dot, taken by Colton, fires it off the boards, and all the way down. That will take care of the rest of the Prowlers' man advantage. So both teams 0 for, combined 0 for 7. Prowlers with 4-man advantages and Rockers with 3, as Colton works back in for Motor City. Tried a centering feed. That was settled down by Chartrand, chopped out by Parsons out of the zone. Wynn hustling after it, has Fleck right on his back. Wynn turns and heads up ice. Wynn takes a big hit from Lockhart. Meanwhile, diving play by Basic kept the rebound from getting to the net. Wynn a shot. That changed direction on the way through. Didn't find the target though. Pazitka to the net, blocked by Lockhart. Now Basic down the ice. Pazitka was on the receiving end of another big Brett Lockhart check. He's had a couple of those in this shift. As Fleck backhands it in. Campbell up towards Pazitka. Dances his way into offensive territory. His shot steered to the corner by Yoshi. Van Orsdell has Paris with him. Tried to drop it to the trailer. Chartrand wasn't there though, and Gagnon picks it up off the bench. Gagnon curling on Doyle. Centering feed towards Hightower. Kicked away. Paris dumps around to Thelstrom. Under 5 to play in period 2 as Sean Doyle gives it up to Paris. Into offensive territory, working on Delaney. Paris up to the line, Thelstrom a wrister, and that's held on to by Makish for a whistle. 4:44 left to go in the Hungry Howie's second period. Rockers within 1, it's 3-2. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers Hockey on the PHP Network.
Live where you work. Work where you play. Is your work commute making you miserable? Quit the commute. Explore hot jobs in St. Clair County paying $40,000 to $100,000 or more. Visit stclairhotjobs.com. Spend more time doing what you love. If you're not currently living in St. Clair County, or you know friends or family that moved away but are ready to come back, then visit stclairhotjobs.com to find a new job and make the move.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 3-2 Prowlers with 4:44 left to go in period number 2. Again, a big thanks to the new Motor City Rockers production crew that they've hired out for the use of the cameras tonight, and hopefully every game this season. Certainly will save me a lot of headaches, and they seem to have a nice production going on down there, so we appreciate their efforts. As the Prowlers look to work back in here, it's James trying to drop it off. Taken by Motor City and fed over to the far side, Rotundi. Delaney got through Campbell. Hightower waits for it on the boards. Fires a rink-wide feed to Rotundi. He turned it over. Paris gloves it down. Thelstrom takes it. That's legal in the defensive zone, a hand pass. As Thelstrom looks to work it up ice. James off the boards. And into the Rockers' end. Carlisle up to Rotundi off a stick. Smith stood up there at the line by Thelstrom, and that keeps the puck in. Parrish tried to turn it towards the net, couldn't do so. That one wrapped all the way around. Rotundi hustling after it. Prowlers coming off the bench. Rotundi a long-range drive kicked out by Yoshi. It's flipped up in the air, gloved down by Parsons. Long feed just out of the reach of Scantlebury, and that's an icing against the Prowlers as Parsons was looking for the home run pass. Scantlebury would have been in one-on-one on Jake Pober, but unable to complete the pass. But a good attempt from the two returners, Parsons and Scantlebury, as Paris and Buys get set for this face-off. Paris off the glass, knocked down at center, but with a high stick by Carlisle. So that will draw another whistle and another face-off. And they'll bring the draw all the way down into Rockers territory. Prowlers send out the Wallace McNutt Stoller line for this offensive zone face-off. As it's tied up there. Wallace couldn't put it back deep. Stoller drops it back. And now McNutt looks to work his way up. Fights off a hit from Buys as he dumps it in. McNutt, of course, from nearby Fort Gratiot, Michigan. I guess not quite as near to Fraser, but right there just north of Port Huron. Local guy, played at Port Huron Northern High School for a few years, and now trying to make the Prowlers his last season of recorded hockey was with the Motor City Hawks and the San Diego Sabres. Hawks in the USPHL Premier and the Sabres in the Western States Hockey League, and that was all the way back in 2018-19. McNutt made it to Prowlers camp after impressing at free agent camp. Here's Chartrand with a shot kicked out, and then Van Orsdale scores! A rip from the high slot from Elliot Van Orsdale, and the Prowlers double the advantage again. And Evo, as he likes to be called, who joined the Prowlers after being released by the Binghamton Black Bears after spending the last 2 years at the University of Southern Maine. Gets his first goal of this preseason exhibition. And he's a guy who's shown off the great stick work throughout training camp. Certainly a guy who's spent a lot of time working on those hands throughout his youth hockey career and into college. He's trying to make a name for himself with the Prowlers, and he gets on the score sheet here. Under 2 to play in the period as Colton gives it back to Wynn. And he's watched by Van Orsdale. Wynn floats it to the net, gloved down by Yoshi. Puck still loose. Yoshi gets back to cover the post with his pads, robbing Josh Colton on that rebound. Diving effort from Lockhart, just couldn't get the puck out of the zone. Chartrand turning away from Gagnon, turned it over. Shot didn't get all the way to the net though. Good diving play by Petrovitsin. Puck still bouncing around, finally settled down by the Rockers. Fired out to the point, Delaney. Wrister through traffic, deflects just wide as it was Pazika floating in right in front of the net, who got a stick on it. Pazika this time to Smith. That's fired all the way around. Fleck just does chip it out. Campbell gets there ahead of Van Orsdale. And now Will Campbell tries to move up. Chartrand takes it from him in the final minute. Hightower, as players going to the net, couldn't find either Rotundi or Smith. Now Hightower again, left it behind the net. Delaney in from his defensive position to play the puck. And now out high, Campbell just did misplay that pass enough that it popped over the blue line, and he brought it back in offside against the Rockers. Yoshi with a big save on Josh Campbell. After he made the first stop, puck was sitting at the side of the net. Colton, pardon me. It was Josh Colton. He came all the way in from his defensive position. Yoshi just spread out the pads and was able to make the save. And he's a guy who's shown throughout camp that he's never out of a save. Making a few highway robberies during training camp this season. Final seconds ticking off the clock. Prowlers won't be able to get one more shot off as this second period ends with Port Huron up by 2, 4-2. Shots on goal for both sides, 13 in that second period. Prowlers with a 2-period lead of 34-19. And they have the 2-goal advantage. Coming up in the second intermission report, we'll chat about the game so far, break it all down for you, everything that's gone on so far, some intriguing names getting on the score sheet, been some good impressions as well, so we'll talk about all that. We'll also take a look at the Prowlers' upcoming schedule as they get set to begin the regular season coming up next week, as we are just about set to chat in the locker room, and then we'll have period number 3 here for you on the PHP network. Well, secure your seats for the Prowlers' next home game. It's their home opener as they host the Carolina Thunderbirds, with puck drop scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Tickets are available online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or by scanning the QR code on your screen now. That's online at phprowlers.com/tickets, by phone at 810-985-6166, or scan the QR code now to be part of the Prowlers' 10th anniversary season at McMorran Place, the home opener against the Carolina Thunderbirds on October the 18th. We'll have much more from this preseason exhibition coming at you in just a few minutes, and we'll have it here on the PHP network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
they're seriously not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com.
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Welcome back to Big Boy Arena. Prowlers with a 4-2 lead through 2 periods of play of this preseason exhibition. Will Wiggleman here with you on the PHP Network. Thanks so much for tuning in again tonight. That's our first broadcast of the season. Of course, still working out some of the kinks a little bit, but hopefully we can get you the perfect product by the time next week rolls around. But this has been a good game for the Prowlers. They have dominated play. They did dominate play for much of that first period. Second period, a little bit more even, but they did get goals from Elliot Van Orsdale and Daniel Chartrand. And you know what I liked about that goal from Chartrand is, you know, he's a guy who's been around a few years. He has the poise. He can, you know, make the move in front when he has the time and space. But how about Ludwig Thelstrom on that play? Going down the wall, and he absorbed a couple of checks, handed the puck off to Isaiah Paris, and Paris with a perfect dish out to Chartrand in front. So some good plays for the Apples on that goal. And, of course, Van Orsdale finding the puck in the high slot, and a nice rip to get past Noah Makish, who came in to replace Bryn Sommerfeld at the midway point of that period. Sommerfeld ends his night with 27 saves on 30 shots in 30 minutes and 57 seconds, while Makish has 3 saves on 4 shots against so far in his time, and we expect him to be out there for the entire third period. We'll see if the Prowlers make a goaltending change for this third period so they can get a look at Patrick Alto. Currently, Yoshihiro Kuriyawa has 17 saves on 19 shots, a couple of good kick saves, 1 or 2 acrobatic saves as well. So good night for him so far as well. And it's a 4-2 lead for the Port Huron Prowlers. Tucker Scantleberry and Daniel Chartrand, as expected, contributing in this game, a goal and an assist apiece. Meanwhile, Mike Wynn and Ryan Rotundi have the goals for Motor City. So even in a game like this, where a lot of the focus is on the young guys, on the rookies, on the guys trying to make their teams out of camp, you still have those kinds of returning guys who are making their presence felt and, of course, getting themselves ready for the season as well. They're not going to ease up just because of the type of game it is. They're going to continue to go hard as the competitors that they are, and they've been rewarded with some points so far in this game, as the Prowlers will look to close this one out. And after falling in the exhibition game last season, see if they can get a win in what isn't exactly a meaningless game, but it's one that has no bearing on the standings, as we are just about 10-ish minutes from puck drop for period number 3 here from Big Boy Arena. We'll take another timeout, and when we come back, we'll take a look around the FPHL, upcoming schedule for the Prowlers, and more. And it's coming up next here on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
We're on a mission to feed the future by helping farmers worldwide be more resilient, more productive, more sustainable for generations to come. Corteva Agriscience. Keep growing.
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at PH Prowlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
It's time to wake up on the sunrise side of Michigan. Wake up to beautiful beaches. Wake up to vibrant urban landscapes. Wake up to unique eats. Wake up to charming coastal towns. Wake up to cozy entertainment. Wake up to Michigan's Thumb Coast. Plan your perfect wake-up call using bluewater.org.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 4-2 Prowlers, as we continue to roll on in the second intermission here in Fraser, the exhibition game between the Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers, as both teams looking to fill out their rosters for opening night, which just 6 days away for both of these teams. Very exciting. Prowlers will be opening up against the Carolina Thunderbirds. That will be at home. And meanwhile, the Rockers open their season against the Danbury Hat-Tricks. So very exciting stuff. Fall is in the air. It's October, the best time of year. But before we continue to talk more about this game, we want to take a look at the upcoming schedule for the Prowlers. As I mentioned, next weekend, home against the Carolina Thunderbirds. Have a 7:05 start on Friday for the home opening game. And then at Saturday, first Casey's Kids Zone night of the year, a 6:05 puck drop. So Prowlers and Thunderbirds, Port Huron looking for a little revenge, of course, after last season's playoff disappointment to the Thunderbirds. And then they'll head on the road, and their first games against Empire Division opponents as a member of the Empire Division. They'll face the Hudson Valley Venom and the Binghamton Black Bears next weekend. Again, 2 road games, 7 p.m. each night, and we'll have them both for you right here on the PHP Network. And be sure to head over to the Buffalo Wild Wings up in Fort Gratiot. I believe it's a Port Huron address, but the Buffalo Wild Wings up there up 24th Street, as they will be having watch parties for every Prowlers road game all season long. This one not included. This is just a preseason game, but every regular season and playoff home game, Prowlers will have watch parties over at Buffalo Wild Wings, so be sure to head over there and check it out all season long, as it will be an exciting one. And of course, we're very excited to cover it for you here on the PHP Network. But before we continue talking about Port Huron, let's take a look around the league. The other 4 games going on right now. We start with the 2 that mean something for the standings. And the Watertown Wolves up 4-2 through 40 minutes of play, trying to spoil the Binghamton Black Bears banner-raising ceremony. And despite being outshot 32-13 right now, it's the Wolves up 4-2. Shewetton Blacksmith has a pair of tallies for Watertown as they get set for period number 3 in Binghamton. And down south, Athens and Monroe tied up at 1 apiece as they play late stages of the opening period. Of course, the Rock Lobsters beat up on the Moccasins last night 7-2. This game going just a little bit differently, and we'll see if the Moccasins can get their first victory in franchise history. It's all Mississippi in the exhibition game over in Wytheville as their Seawolves have a 5-1 lead on the Blue Ridge Bobcats. Colby Audette, a pair of goals. Noah Hippolyte-Smith has 2 helpers, as does Don Carter Jr. for the Seawolves. Again, that one an exhibition, as is the one in Newburgh between the Venom and the Hat-Tricks. Danbury up 1-0 as Reese Tamburo has the only goal of that one so far. They're still playing in period number 1. And of course here, getting set for period 3, let's take a look at the stats so far in this game as the Rockers and Prowlers and battling out for the 2nd straight year in the preseason. Prowlers up 4-2. Both power plays have been stymied, although a number of those man advantages have been brief due to penalties taken by the team that was already up a man. But Prowlers 0 for 4, Rockers 0 for 3 on the man advantage so far in this game. And again, it's Port Huron with a dominant 34-19 shots advantage. And we'll see if that keeps up here in the 3rd period or if the Rockers are able to make a bit of a comeback here going into period 3. But before we start period 3, we need to answer our PHP Network trivia question. And of course, as we mentioned, Ian Wallace's twin brother Brennan playing tonight in the preseason game for the Prowlers. We want to know if you can name the only set of twins to both play together for the Port Huron Prowlers. They're also the only set of twins to both play a regular season game for the Port Huron Prowlers. I believe I saw the right answer in the comments section. It is Sean and Stephen Leonard, who played during the 2020-21 season. They played together. And as I was looking it up, I was curious if there was just another set of brothers that played for the Prowlers. But I found twins that played for the Prowlers, and the Leonard twins, the answer to tonight's trivia question. Well, after 2 periods, Yoshihiro Kuriowa is out, and Patrick Alto will take the crease for the Port Huron Prowlers. Alto coming by way of UMass Dartmouth, although he did not make an appearance over 2 years there. He did play with the East Coast Wizards in 2021-22. That's in the Eastern Hockey League. We had a 9-5-0 record, .363 goals against average, and .899 save percentage back in the 2021-22 season. You see him there on your screen. Now you see Noah Makish, who returns in between the pipes after 3 saves on 4 shots in the back half of that 2nd period. We're all set to go. Period number 3, it's Paris and Smith. They take the draw, and we're underway in the Scholes Family McDonald's 3rd period. New sponsor this season for the Prowlers. We thank all of our sponsors, and very glad that they are on board and part of the team this season. Scholl's Family McDonald's, of course, has been a sponsor for a long time. If you've been to McMorran, I'm sure you've seen their dasher board. As Smith has this one in offensive territory, as he's falling, able to force it to the near side. Thelstrom gets it up the wall. Win. Now to Colton. Rotundi tried to step by his man. Now Rotundi steps into one. And the first save for Patrick Alto is a glove grab. Alto, a Massachusetts native. Just add him to the list of Massachusetts native. Brian Parsons, Brett Lockhart on that list. Speaking of Parsons and Lockhart, they're both having chats over on the far side. Lockhart still talking with Marian Pazitka. Now we're all set to go up this face-off. It's set down the wall. Fed out in front, and Alto able to take it and cover up. All alone right in front of the net was Carter Zaworthy. And he would have had a good opportunity. Zaworthy, who played for the Fox Creek Ice Kings in the NJHL last year, 77 points in 43 games. Or 77 points in 28 games, pardon me, 43 assists. A lot of points in that league. Try and do it here, as that shot just whistles wide through traffic off the stick of Tim Delaney. Zaworthy moved it back over to the near side. Gagnon taking it in the corner. Pazitka takes the puck. It's stolen back by Port Huron. Here comes Gavin Fleck. Couldn't get past Delaney. Comes back for the puck, though. Gives it to James right off the bench. Campbell pokes it away from him. Now Fleck almost picked Delaney's pocket. In comes Pazitka. His shot blocked by Petronitsin. Pazitka still with it. And Alto, with his pads hugging the post, able to do enough to get the whistle. The first shot was blocked. Pazitka stayed with it, and Alto forced to squeeze the puck against the post with his pads. Off this face-off, McNutt chips it off the boards, and Stoller scoops it up, gets to the middle of the ice. Christian Stoller with a shot. Went off a stick and wide. Hopped away from Stoller this time. He cycles it down deep. Buys and McNutt come together, and Buys comes out with the puck. Dumped right in, and into the corner to Alto's right. AJ Basic worked it around. Buys takes it back for Motor City. He was tied up by Doyle. Prowlers trying to force it out. Wallace played it out of the pile, and now skating into his Pober. That one sent towards the crease and knocked away. Stoller gets the red line and gets it deep. And both teams making some changes as Colton kicks it up to his stick behind his own net. So we approach 3 minutes gone in period 3. Scantleberry left it off for Paris. Puck still loose. Chartrand able to find it and dump it into the corner. Scantleberry and Wynn come together. Chipped along and back out by the Rockers. Hightower couldn't chop it in. Instead it was Parsons sending it back to Motor City territory. And then Chartrand, oh, that one deflects right into the crowd. There's a souvenir. I hope everybody's all right. That came up into the crowd with a little bit of pace. At the end of the day, a souvenir for a young fan up here in the stands. Face-off will move to center ice. Colton goes D to win. Alto plays that puck. Parsons gave it over to his defense partner Thelstrom, who now recollects behind the net, harassed there by Hightower, and Paris able to come out with it. Moved along, Scantleberry couldn't find Paris moving up ice. Parsons knocked it down, but they deem it was with a high stick. Oh, pardon me, that wasn't what that was for. That was a roughing penalty, and it's coming against Daniel Chartrand. Parsons and Avery Smith having some words as Chartrand is escorted to the box. A Rockers power play early on in this third period and a chance to pull within one. Motor City 0 for 3 on the man advantage so far tonight. And Luke James will take the face-off against Sam Gagnon. Rimmed around, kept in by Delaney. Pazika up top, finds some space, keeps on chugging. Pazika couldn't find a shooting lane that time. And he works it up to the point to Campbell. Delaney to Gagnon on the half wall. He steps out, trying to create some space, gives to Delaney, back to Gagnon. Harassed by Lockhart, Gagnon turns the corner, keeps on moving. Couldn't make a play towards the net as the Prowlers collect the puck. Just couldn't get it out though. Circled back behind the cage. Pazika there. Now James cuts off that pass behind the net. He and Gagnon go into the corner together. Gagnon knocked down. Petroditsin in a battle with a couple of Rockers. Puck comes to Gagnon. He slides it up the wall to the point. Campbell halfway through the Rockers power play as the pass across couldn't be one-timed by Delaney cleanly. He didn't get all of it, and then the net comes off behind Alto. So 57 seconds left in the penalty to Chartrand, which has been spent all in the Prowlers zone so far. Prowlers won't be able to change. Rockers get some new power play guys on the ice, but a tired group of penalty killers stuck out there for Port Huron. Face-off won by Van Orsdell. He gets it up the wall. Well, the puck's still kept alive by Motor City. Win with a good poke to keep it in the zone. Now Colton with space, gives it over. Rotundia drive on the one-timer. Didn't find the target, not sure if that hit something on the way through. Temporary 5-on-3 now in the zone. Finally Paris comes back in as Van Orsdell headed to the bench. He was out in the neutral zone. Now Paris, who's fresh, able to move the puck in deep to allow the rest of his team to change. And now play blown dead again. And we will take a break. 14:27 to go in period number 3. Still 4-2 Prowlers. You're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network, providing resources and funding to help start or grow your business. Small business support in participating Region 6 counties. Take advantage of the network's free training and events for entrepreneurs and small business owners. The Eastern Michigan Small Business Network aims to boost your chances of success. Learn more about the network's Small Business Cohort Program. With rentable workspaces, business coaching, training, and funding opportunities, it's time to become a client of the Eastern Michigan Small Business Network.
Explore the 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron. That is Michigan's Thumb Coast. Discover charming coastal towns, serene beaches, and endless outdoor adventures. Stay at cozy hotels, paddle through pristine blue waters, and hit the fairways along breathtaking views. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here, and Frazier, looks like a penalty going up on the home side as they have Mike Wynn's number up on the scoreboard. which means we'll have 4-on-4 for the next 20 seconds and then a minute 40 of a power play for the Prowlers. I guess old habits die hard. We've had a lot of 4-on-4 action in this game, and we'll have a little more. Puck comes over to the near side half wall. Now Parsons on the far side. Paris with some space, gives it over to Thellstrom. Down low to Brennan Wallace. Puck hopped away from him. And then that clearing attempt didn't work. Paris as Chartrand's out of the box. Now it's an abbreviated Prowlers power play. Well, they do have plenty of time, 90 seconds left to go in it, as they begin to work. Scantlebury up the left wing side. He gets in. It's around his man. Outside shot stopped by Makish. He had Fleck right there on the doorstep who pushed it back towards the net before he was able to cover up. So minute 19 up on the clock for the Prowlers power play. As Scantlebury and Smith get set for this face-off. Scantlebury won it back, but they'll try it again. Unfair drop, possibly. This time they consider it fair. Thellstrom with a good glove to knock down the clearing type. He shoots! And Scantlebury's going to the penalty box. Just as Thellstrom was about to let that one go, the whistle blew. He ended up clanging it off the back glass, but Tucker Scantlebury is headed to the box. How about some more 4-on-4 action? Well, a minute 12 of 4-on-4 this time, and then 48 seconds of power play time for the Rockers. And I guess these two teams really don't like power plays because they keep negating their own. James scoops up that loose puck off the boards, taken in hard by Smith. And then Thellstrom knocks down Avery Smith. Thellstrom gives it over to McNutt. He gets the red line, gets it deep, and spins away from a Smith check. Parsons down and around, got through James. And that one caroms out of play with 44 seconds left in the 4-on-4, 13-10 to go in period 3. And the Prowlers still with their 2-goal lead. Rockers up on shots in this third period, 3-1. It's been relatively uneventful as far as pucks getting towards the goaltenders. Gagnon and Paris on this face-off. Paris able to win it back, but into the neutral zone the puck goes. Chartrand spinning away from Gagnon. And now a lead pass onto the defenseman Thellstrom. All by himself, tried to cut to the net. Puck taken off his stick by Delaney. Now Chartrand to the point. Parsons over to Paris with space. His shot kicked away by Makish. Dump back around, Paris. First on it in the corner, he's wrapped up. Paris still fighting with that puck, but it pops out to Buys. 1-on-3 as he hit the Prowler line. And Parsons threw the body into him. Parsons actually took the worst of that, got his helmet knocked off, and Brian Parsons is down in his own end. They blow the whistle. Paris wants after Buys, and a crowd gathering right around the Motor City blue line. They're going to have to keep Avery Smith away from Isaiah Paris. Parsons having a chat with referee Cody Lang. Looked like he went to step up on Buys, but ended up taking the worst of it. Doesn't look like any penalties will come from it. We'll see where they put the face-off. Rockers are looking for it to go into the Prowlers' end. But the line's been set up right at center ice. 41 seconds to go on what is a Rockers power play at this point, with Scantlebury the only one left in the box. Wallace able to win the faceoff away from Rotundi. Doyle sticks it towards the line where Rotundi keeps in, floats it towards the net. That just went wide. Now Colton down to Rotundi. Hightower battling in front with Doyle. Penalty coming up against the Prowlers as Smith fires it across off of Wallace's stick. A cross check is the signal. It looks like Sean Doyle is the guilty party. So 22 seconds left on the Scantlebury penalty. It will be 5-on-3 for Motor City. Doyle having a longer conversation with the linesman before entering the box to sit next to Tucker Scantlebury. Rockers without a shot yet on the man advantage. No shots for them since the Scantlebury penalty. As Lockhart able to backhand that one down the ice. Final 10 seconds ticking off of Scantlebury's minor penalty as Wynn dances his way in, and it chopped off his stick, and he's taken in hard by Lockhart. Wynn lost his helmet. He's not allowed to play the puck without his helmet, as you're supposed to go straight to the bench. And how about some more 4-on-4 action? Mike Wynn back to the box once again, and the Prowlers faithful who made the trip cheering on this call from the referees. You're not allowed to play the puck when your helmet pops off. You have to go straight to the bench if you lose it. Wynn didn't do that, and I'm sure that was just a reactionary thing, just instinct. The puck was right next to him, so he just played it just because it was right next to him. Didn't even think about it, and immediately the call was made. We'll have some 4-on-4. James and Smith on this face-off. Delaney works it along to Colton. Colton dumps it in, and he's the first after it, watched by Parsons. Colton trying to force it over to Smith, who's on it now, but his pass out right on Scantlebury's tape. Bounced off the boards. James works his way in. He shoots, and he couldn't find the target. Puck on the near side half wall, taken off by James. Scantlebury from in tight, stopped by the big pads of Makish. Now Thelstrom to Scantlebury, the shooting lane. I think Makish got a piece of that one. Moving the other way is Avery Smith. Little toe drag to the middle. Couldn't get a shot on net. Well played by Thelstrom. 40 seconds left in the 4-on-4 before a very brief Prowlers power play. Buys, works in, and Parsons able to push him off this time. And now we have a whistle. A slashing penalty upcoming. And it is against Brian Parsons. So it is a 4-on-3 Rockers power play, because we've had just about everything except for 3-on-3 at this point. Why not have a little 4-on-3? 26 seconds left on Doyle's penalty. And then there will be 23 on Wynn's penalties. There will be 26 seconds of 4-on-3, 23 seconds of 4-on-4. And then after that, it will be a 5-on-4 power play for Motor City. Somebody with a calculator, make sure I did that math right, please. Paris couldn't chip that one by. Gagnon back up to the line, and it's fed over to Pazika. Switches spots with Gagnon. Tried to feed a pass down low, and Lockhart cut it off. He dumps it all the way down. So Doyle steps out. It's 4-on-4 for the next 20 seconds, and then we'll have about a minute 10 of rocker man advantage time, as Petroditsin poked it off a rocker stick. Rotundi steps down the wall. His shot kicked out by Alto. Paris hands it off for Lockhart. Now it's a rocker power play again as Lockhart short-handed. Chartrand to Paris, loads it and fires just wide. Wynn fresh out of the penalty box. He dangles in. His shot couldn't find the target. And sarcastic cheers from the Prowler faithful. Colton on the half wall. Sends it all the way around towards Gagnon. Up to the top, it's Rotundi. 36 seconds on the Rockers' power play. As that shot knocked down in front. Alto makes a save in tight. And the puck just skitters to the corner boards. Colton again walks the line. This time the shot off of Paris's stick and out of play. I think Alto made the save on the initial shot by Colton just moments ago, and then he had to make the stop on the second chance as well. Well, the other 21 seconds of Rocker power play time. On the other side, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Explore 140 miles of stunning shoreline along Lake Huron in Michigan's Thumb Coast. Begin your adventure on a blanket of golden sand at one of our serene beaches. Connect with the historic atmosphere of our region's nautical influence and reconnect with friends under a blanket of stars. Plan your perfect getaway at bluewater.org.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, 8:46 to go in period 3. 21 seconds left on yet another power play for the Motor City Rockers. Their 7th of the game. The Prowlers have had 6, and more than half of these power plays have not been the full 2 minutes. They've been abbreviated because these teams continue to negate their own man advantages with penalties. It's preseason. We'll see if both teams can clean that up. Here's Campbell, the shot, and he scores. It looked like Alto stumbled a bit as he was sliding over to his right. That's a power play goal for Motor City. And they pull back within one once again. Campbell let that shot go. Yeah, it looked like Alto may have stumbled a little bit. He wasn't in full position as he went to make that save, and Campbell took full advantage. Again, played 1 game last season after being a collegiate signing out of Indiana Tech, did Will Campbell. He had 2 goals and 23 points in 33 games at the ACHA level last year, playing alongside Avery Smith at Indiana Tech. They call it Campbell from Tim Delaney, and makes it a 4-3 game. Prowlers looking for a response as Stelstrom's attempt towards the net was blocked. Van Orsdale taps it in. He heads after it with Smith, who left it there for Campbell. That long pass across came up high on Van Orsdel. I think it may have hit him up around the shoulder area and deflected out of play. Not the first time that we've seen a cross-ice speed from the Rockers catch a Prowler up high. Isaiah Paris was on the receiving end of one earlier on in this game. Face off at center, tied up with the aforementioned Paris with Avery Smith. Paris gets it back to Thelstrom. He's able to force his pass through Hightower up to Scantleberry, who finds that puck back again. Dangles towards the net. Scantleberry almost with a highlight reel goal, but Makaish able to make the save. Rockers back the other direction, trying to force it into the Prowlers' end. The arm is up in the air for a penalty. Roughing is the call. And now Smith grabbing Scantleberry with two linesmen around him. Another arm is up in the air. And the battle of I-94 is not any less fierce just because this game doesn't have points on the line. And if this is what we're getting out of an exhibition game, we can't wait for the regular season games. Both Scantleberry and Smith are in the penalty boxes. Smith barking over at Scantleberry. Referees John Tollieu and Cody Lang over there chatting just to make sure that they have everything straightened out. I believe there was an original penalty. Again, I didn't really see it very well. It's tough to see from my vantage point the things that go on in front of the benches. Right here on the benches side. Both guys barking in the box. Where there was an original penalty called by the referee. Something that happened at the Prowlers blue line was called by the referee over at the Rockers blue line. And then Smith grabs Scantleberry, and the other referee called another penalty. The way it's shaking out, I'm going to guess that Scantleberry had the original penalty, and then Smith evened it up with that horse collar. So we'll play 4-on-4. Have we done that yet tonight? I'm not sure. As Prowlers looking to take advantage of this open ice, Luke James closed off by Wynn. James still gets it through. James catching back up to it, and he tried to loft it from the goal line up to the top of the net. It went too high. Wynn on the left wing side, drops for Gagnon. Now up to Colts at the blue line. He gets it back on the give and go. Parsons sticks it right off of him and then dumps Gagnon on the half wall. Brian Parsons has seen that move from Sam Gagnon before, many a time in practice over the past couple of seasons. Parsons takes Pazika into the wall. Pazika able to work it back to the line. Wynn winds and fires. That one goes over top of the cage. 55 seconds left in 4-on-4. Buys around the net, turnaround shot. And the net is off. Down to our left. 49 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Parsons and Buys, visor to visor. Down in Prowler territory. If you thought this game would be tame just because it was a preseason game, well, welcome to the Battle of I-94. That's not what they're about. As Parsons' dump, a veteran dump, dies short enough that he's able to get a change for his team, and they wave off the icing. Brett Lockhart gives it over to Van Orsdel. Petridison up to Wallace. Wallace dumps it in, goes after it himself. Campbell first on it. And Will Campbell gets the red line and he dumps it around. Petrovitsin first on it on the other side. Skating up the left wing side, harassed from behind by Zalworthy. He's trying to one-hand it out. Petrovitsin able to take it back to 5-on-5 as Scantlebury and Smith both step out of the penalty boxes. 5.5 to go in period 3. Smith dancing his way up ice. Gets through a couple of Prowlers. Smith winds and fires, and it goes wide, and he's upended by Lockhart. Penalty coming up against Brett Lockhart. Parade to the penalty box continues. Avery Smith very proud of himself for drawing that penalty, and he'll go let Lockhart know about it. Rockers scored on their last power play to pull within 1. Now they'll try and tie it with 5:19 to go in period 3. And a timeout called by Steve Shannon, the head coach of the Motor City Rockers. Again, trying to lead his team to victory just 3 days after he was hired officially by Motor City. He was hired after Gordy Brown stepped down. And his head coaching history is fairly short and fairly sporadic. 2004-05, he coached the Motor City Mechanics here at Big Boy Arena in the United Hockey League. And then 2008-09, he coached the Detroit Dragons in the All-American Hockey League. Again, that was here at Big Boy Arena. And then you jump to 2012-13 when he was the GM and head coach of the Port Huron Fighting Falcons in the NAHL. Fired mid-season by the Fighting Falcons and now pops up again with the Motor City Rockers. So full 2-minute power play. We'll see if it lasts the full 2 minutes as the Rockers win the faceoff and start to set up. Avery Smith flying around the zone. Smith all the way around the net again. He takes another tour of Prowler ice. And now he hands it off. The shot comes in. It's off a stick. And then out on the other side, Alto kicked out that left pad to Rob Rotundi. As it took a hop over to the other side, Rotundi had a wide open cage. And Patrick Alto just kicked out that left pad to save a goal. Gagnon works his way back in, slips by, knocked down by Alto. Puck still loose. It's knocked around. Gagnon at the side of the net. They score. Clay Hightower out of the mad scramble puts it home, and we are tied up at 4 on the Rockers' second power play goal of the night. Alto made the first save. Puck dropped down in front of him, but then it was batted around. Prowlers tried to clear, it hit a body, and Hightower finally able to deposit it in the cage. He adds a goal to his assist. So good night for Clay Hightower. .428 left to go in period 3. Prowler's bench having a discussion. I think they're trying to say the net was off. And now they are chatting over with head coach Matt Graham behind the bench. Graham, of course, stood behind the bench for the end of last season, and now they're going to talk about it. Do we get our first look at the new FPHL replay system, or are they just going to call it a goal? They do not have the replay system set up at Big Boy Arena. The FPHL is mandating a replay system, cameras above each net that referees will be able to review on an iPad over in the scorer's booth. The Prowlers have them set up at McMorran Place. Apparently, they are not set up yet here at Big Boy Arena, so we can't review this. We cannot review this. That is my assumption, is that because what I was told earlier tonight, that the replay system was not set up yet, the cameras were not in place. I assume that means we can't review this. Here's Scantleberry back the other way. His shot goes just past the net. Basic kept it in at the line, and it's sent back towards the net. That got caught up in Mike Wynn. And back out to center. Basic sent it up to Doyle. That was up in the air. Doyle couldn't get it out. And now Paris cuts off a pass, just pokes it out of the zone. Under 4 to play in period 3. Maybe we get some overtime in this preseason. Prowlers fans not happy with the referees after that. Bit of a controversial goal as Smith moved back in, neatly taken off his stick by Fleck. Now Campbell with another opportunity to move up ice. Smith to Rotundi, his shot eaten up by the stick of Doyle, who dumps Ryan Rotundi right after. Campbell trying to settle down the bouncing puck. Pops out to the middle, Paris from the outside. Makeish makes the save, and he flounders to grab onto that puck as it was just at the side of the net. 3:08 to go in period 3. We have a tied hockey game here. And Fraser, you're watching Port Huron Prowlers hockey on the PHP Network.
Live where you work. Work where you play. Is your work commute making you miserable? Quit the commute. Explore hot jobs in St. Clair County paying $40,000 to $100,000 or more. Visit stclairhotjobs.com. Spend more time doing what you love. If you're not currently living in St. Clair County, or you know friends or family that moved away but are ready to come back, then visit stclairhotjobs.com to find a new job and make the move.
We invite you to tune into our next broadcast on Friday. We'll get back to that later as the Rockers are into offensive territory. Luke James looks to dump it out. Kept alive. Lockhart turning, and he moves it up the wall. Got through Fleck. And now Lockhart again. This time he'll get it to center. And it's sent back to Delaney. 2.5 to play in this tied hockey game. As Delaney works his way up. He gets the red line and gets it in. A couple of Rockers heading after it. Pecheritsin, first one on it for the Prowlers. Fleck moving up with a couple of teammates. He gets around Smith. Fleck with an outside shot kicked away by Makeish. And this one goes all the way down. Icing waved off at the last second. Good hustle from Clayton Hightower to negate the icing. And now Smith. Rockers seem to be energized by that goal, but he turns it over. McNutt tied up. He's able to get the puck, and he gets it to Parsons. Minute 44 to go in period 3. As Smith chips it by Thelstrom. He's knocked down. Rockers fans want a call. They won't get one. This time they will, though, as the arm is up from the back referee. A tripping penalty coming up with 1.5 minutes to go in the third, and the Rockers, who have scored 2 power play goals in this third period, will have another chance at the man advantage as Ludwig Thelstrom takes a seat. So big opportunity for the Motor City man advantage late in this game. Chartrand and Buys take the face-off. Buys off the draw, stopped by Alto, set in the crease, and then Alto swept it away. Wynn sends it back in, and Lockhart gets it out. But Buys with a grade A opportunity right off the draw. Alto got most of it. It dropped in the blue paint, and then he got in the splits just to swipe it out of danger. Final minute of play in the third period. Centering pass knocked away by Parsons. Lockhart up the glass. Taken back by Motor City. Colton cross ice feed. Now up top, it's Wynn. Down low, Colton. Gave it over. And now it's Pazika walking up high to Wynn with 30. Colton, Wynn, watched by Chartrand. Pazika on the far side, shooting lane, and that's blocked by Parsons. Lockhart off the wall, goes all the way down. Scantlebury hustling after it with 15. Makaish out to play it, almost gave it away. Instead, Wynn with a long feed. Last chance of regulation for the Rockers. Doyle gets there, goes to the corner. Mazika all the way over. There's a fight going on behind the net as time expires. Arms are up in the air, and now we have a dog pile behind the Prowler net as Doyle went after a Rocker. Sean Doyle was playing somebody, and now Paris and Smith are going at two big boys, and Paris was never able to get his gloves off as Smith jumped him. And Avery Smith hyping up the crowd. Time has expired in period 3. Doyle jumped a Rocker. Smith grabbed Paris, and Paris didn't even have a chance to get his gloves off to participate in that fight. Smith has been sent to the locker room. There are 30 seconds left on Ludwig Thelstrom's penalty, which will leak into overtime. It's chaos here in Fraser at the end of regulation of this exhibition game, as Doyle has come up bloody and the Prowlers fans cheering him on. And the question is, will they put any time back on the clock? There are 5 minutes up on the clock right now. Both goaltenders have headed to their benches. We will take a timeout, and when we come back, overtime or maybe the last 2 seconds of the third period, who the heck knows? We will be right back on the PHP Network. But first, we invite you to tune into our next broadcast on Friday, October 18th, when the Prowlers host the Carolina Thunderbirds for their home opener. Puck drop is scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Pre-game show starts at 6:50. It's all right here on the PHP Network. Of course, if you can make it to the building, be sure to be there. The 10th anniversary season home opener. As we get a look at the replay here, Rotundi was trying to drag Doyle off of a Rocker, and then Smith came in and grabbed Paris. Paris did not get the gloves off. And then Smith hyping up the crowd. We'll be back with possibly overtime here on the PHP Network.
Hi, welcome.
I'm just checking in, and I have a service animal.
Service animal?
Do you have anything on the ground floor so I can let him out at night?
Keep up with your Prowlers all season long on social media. Follow us on Facebook at the Port Huron Prowlers, Instagram at PH Prowlers, and Twitter at @PHProwlers. And you can find more information on our website, phprowlers.com.
Back here at Big Boy Arena, they're still figuring things out. They've now put 2 seconds back up on the clock, and they're saying it's still the third period. So we'll hold on to the OT record for now. Yeah, they still say 2 seconds are left here in the third period. Both referees and linesmen talking over at the scorer's table in what's been an absolutely wild game up to this point. "30 seconds are left on the penalty to Ludwig Thelstrom, number 67, who's still sitting in the box, because he still has 30 seconds left on his penalty. He's the only one left in the box. Avery Smith is over in the Rockers tunnel. I believe Sean Doyle is over on the Prowlers bench. We will let you know as soon as we get clarification, if and when and on what. There are 2 Rockers now in the Motor City tunnel. Not sure the other one is, as Tim Delaney is over there chatting. Tucker Scantleberry and Ryan Rotundi returning to their benches. They've put the 2 seconds back up. And the other Rocker over there in the tunnel is Pazika. Pazika going back to his bench as we continue the confusion and discussions, because why can't we have a nice, easy exhibition game? I guess we have to put ourselves in all situations. Players, coaches, broadcasters, off-ice officials, all of us have to be prepared for anything. Face-off is outside of Prowler territory. Penalties are starting to come down. We'll let you know as soon as they're all fully down. We'll clean it all up as we're getting set for overtime. They're pointing Avery Smith to the locker room, so his night seems to be done. Pazika is staying on. We're going to overtime, by the way, because this face-off is outside. As we continue to see the replay here of that. What was a one-sided fight, as only one player was able to get his gloves off. Now we can go to overtime. 4-4, our score. We will get some extra hockey as we take a look at these teams' overtime records last season. Prowlers 4-5 in games that ended in overtime. Rockers 4-2 in games that ended in overtime. And again, I emphasize, if this is the first time you're tuning in, I emphasize the in overtime part because these are their records in games that did not make it to a shootout. The shootout records I have separately. If we do make it that far, we'll see if we make it that far. This has been a high-scoring game. They're they're not sure exactly what all the penalties are. We're figuring it out. And just as soon as we do, we'll be able to get you all the information and get you to overtime. Right now, all that's up on the board still is Ludwig Thelstrom's 28 seconds left of penalty time. I believe that should be 30 seconds. They must have reset the game clock but didn't reset the penalty clock, because he did take it with 1:30 left. As we see it again, just chaos ensuing behind the Prowler net. They're bringing up the penalties to the off-ice officials. There are 3 Prowlers on the ice and 4 Rockers. So it looks like all of this is going to cancel out. And we are all set for overtime. Prowlers will have 28 seconds left to kill off of the Ludwig Thelstrom penalty. And then we'll get to 4-on-4. And at the first whistle after that, it'll be 3-on-3. Overtime underway here. Little preseason OT. And bonus hockey for everyone here in attendance. And nobody gets a point out of this. As Colton walks down, he shoots, and that's stopped by Alto with Hightower right in front. Final seconds ticking off the power play as Wynn has his drive swallowed up by Patrick Alto. Thelstrom will step out of the box just as soon as this puck is dropped. If only Wynn could have taken 1 extra second, then we could go down to 3-on-3. Instead, we'll have 4-on-4 until the next whistle. Puck won by Rotundi. So we're back to 5-on-5. Parsons up the wall. Thelstrom right out of the box takes it, and he dumps it deep. They'll call that an icing, as Thelstrom was on his own side of center. So, with 4:20 to go in overtime, can we get to 3-on-3 or not because of the icing? Let's see what they'll call here. They'll leave it. Oh, now they'll go down to 3-on-3. Brian Parsons heads to the bench. So we have 3-on-3. But now both centers are calling for players from their bench. No, we'll leave it at 3-on-3. It's not a Battle of I-94 game without a little mass confusion, right? Pazika winds it up from his own end. Scantleberry gives him a bump, and Pazika forced back again. Minute gone in overtime. Pazika curling. Sends it down the wall to Delaney. Pushed off by Luke James. And now Pazika at the blue line. Collected by Buys. Watched by Thelstrom. Buys trying to turn the corner all the way around the net. Thelstrom almost took it off his stick. Now he does. And Scantleberry collects for the Prowlers. Has Thelstrom breaking. He sends it there. Now Scantleberry joining him. Thelstrom to Scantleberry. Tried to give it back. But Makeish able to steer it away with his stick. Scantleberry back on it again. Buys. Hassled from behind by Van Orsdell. He's trying to take the puck, but the Rockers have support there. And Colton slows things down. 3 minutes left in overtime. Wynn weaving through center, gets into the offensive zone. Has a goal tonight. And Mike Wynn puts on the brakes in the corner. Watched by Van Orsdell. His pass all the way across. Cut off by Fleck. Has Lockhart moving up. Fleck one hands it to Brett Lockhart. Gets to the middle of his shot. Stopped by Makeish. So we keep going as it's Carlisle, watched by Chartrand. Hightower, who had one of the power play goals in the third. It was the tying goal. Alto jumps on top of that puck for a whistle and a face-off with 2:11 left in overtime. Both teams have had their opportunities. Rockers up 3-2 on shots in the extra session at this point. And now Sam Gagnon is heading off the ice along with the Rockers training staff. Wallace and Rotundi take this face off. Wallace able to win it forward. Puck batted down to Rocker ice. And it's collected there first by Pober. But Brennan Wallace getting some overtime looks, along with Daniel Chartrand and Brian Parsons. Rotundi, Pober, and just stepping off the bench now as the Rockers just made a change is Buys. Meanwhile, it's Rotundi on the puck, looking towards Buys just out of his reach. Buys pulls up in the corner, stapled there by Chartrand. Parsons takes the puck out of that two-man scrum, and he slides it back to Chartrand. He turns it up to Wallace, one-on-one with Rotundi. Wallace didn't get much on that shot as he heads off for a change. Delaney behind his own net with 1:20 to go in the extra session. Could we see a shootout here on the preseason exhibition? And why not? Get everything going. That shot blocked by Van Orsdale. James looking to turn it up. Closed off by Delaney, though. We hit the final minute of overtime. Pazika had it taken by Thelstrom, who stepped in front of him. And now Luke James has some skating space. He gives to Thelstrom flying up the right wing side. He tried to drop it back, but it was blocked by Delaney on a knee. Now Van Orsdale. Van Orsdale down low, and he couldn't handle the pass from James. Van Orsdale again turns the corner. His shot just goes wide. "25 seconds to go in the extra session. Rockers in no hurry, but Scantlebury will force the issue. Win. Forced back by Fleck. Final 10 seconds ticking off in overtime. Colton has to go. Colton steps past Fleck, working on Scantlebury with two in front and cleared away. We head to a shootout. And the last second game-saving play from Brett Lockhart on the back door. We go the distance in Fraser in the preseason exhibition. 4-4 as we head to the shootout. Prowlers 2-1 in shootouts last season. They lost one Danbury before winning back-to-back shootouts at home against the Elmira River Sharks in March. Meanwhile, the Rockers finished 2-2 in shootouts last season. And we'll see who gets to go out. Prowlers played a game of 10 puck, which if you don't know, they line up 10 pucks on each blue line. The two teams go just 1-0 against the goaltenders until they score all 10 pucks. If the goaltender makes the save, they have to pass the puck back to their line. So lots of shootout work is the point of all that for the Prowlers. And we'll see who they decide to trust in the skills competition here tonight. Again, no points are on the line in this game, but it sure feels like there are, as both teams have battled hard all night long. They certainly do not like each other, and they have shown just that. And be sure to stick around for the post-game show coming up. We'll take a look at the final statistics We'll also look at the out-of-town scoreboard, all the other scores that went on around the FPHL. And now we're ready to start the shootout. It's Clay Hightower, the first shooter for Motor City. He moves in, makes a move to the backhand, and he scores. So Hightower in round one. That's Motor City on the board first. And Daniel Chartrand, who scored a memorable shootout goal against these Rockers on Silver Stick Night 2 seasons ago, will try and answer for Port Huron. Chartrand moves into his right, takes the shot, and he scores! Above the blocker, Daniel Chartrand ties up the skills competition, and it's 1-1 after round one. Mike Wynn, who has a goal tonight, the next shooter for Motor City, all the way out to the left, back in front, and that just slips through the 5-hole. Wynn drifted all the way about as far left as he could go, and he's able to slip it through Alto's 5-hole. And the Rockers take a 2-1 lead in the shootout. Tucker Scantleberry looking for the answer. He moves in to the right. Tried the one-hand approach, and that one wouldn't go. So the Rockers with a chance to win it here in round three. They send out Josh Colton. Alto needs a stop to keep the shootout alive. Here comes Colton, in on the left wing side, forehand, and he scores! And Josh Colton wins the shootout for Motor City as the Rockers come back to beat the Prowlers in this preseason. Well, pardon me, they are going to continue. As Elliot Van Orsdel continues to go, maybe it's a 5-round shootout. Van Orsdel slows things down, backhand, he scores! So, Elliot Van Orsdel makes it now 3-2 in the shootout. I guess we're doing a 5-round shootout. Typically the FPHL should be 3 rounds, but now it looks like they're doing 5. It was 3 last year, but I'm being told that this year it is 5. So it is a 5-round shootout this year, and after 3 rounds, the teams can replay a shooter. Rockers won't do that. They send in Ryan Rotundi with forehand, backhand, one-handed, and he scores. And the Rockers a perfect 4 for 4 in the skills competition. And now in round 4, it's Luke James. And this time he has to score to keep the Prowlers alive. James comes in head on, stick handling, forehand, gloved by Makeish. And a delayed celebration, and the Rockers come back to beat the Prowlers by a final score of 5-4. A couple of third period goals for Motor City, and they take this preseason exhibition game in the shootout. Again, no points awarded for this victory for Motor City, but certainly does feel good for the Rockers. Again, the 2-goal comeback in the shootout that seals the victory for Motor City. When we come back, we'll have the post-game show for you right here on the PHP Network. So don't go anywhere. More content coming up in just moments.
not even that much better than you.
Should have just got a ticket from phprowlers.com.
I should have just bought tickets at phprowlers.com.
I got it!
I should have just got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
I should have got a ticket at phprowlers.com.
They should have just got tickets
at phprowlers.com. Welcome back here at Big Boy Arena. Prowlers dropped their preseason showdown with the Motor City Rockers by a final score of 5-4 via the shootout, as the Rockers defeat the Prowlers in preseason competition for the second year in a row. And well, this was a game that the Prowlers had in control. They had a 2-1 lead after the first, a 4-2 lead after the second, but a pair of power play goals in the third got the Rockers back in it, and that is the big difference maker, is that Motor City power play came alive in the third period to tie things up. We got to overtime. It was an exciting overtime really for the first half, and then the second half a little bit less going on, but nobody able to score in the extra session, and then what is now a 5-round shootout. The Rockers go 4 for 4 in the skills competition to get the victory, 5-4. And again, no extra point to hand out to them, as they'll go down goal by goal throughout this game. It started on early on for the Prowlers, as a shot from far out by Daniel Chartrand after a good forecheck by Port Huron hit Tucker Scantleberry in front and went in. They'll take them any way they can get them, and that made it 1-0 just 2 minutes and 40 seconds in. Then later in the period, Clayton Hightower gave it over to Ryan Rotundi, a little backdoor play, and that was just past the midway point of period 1, and that tied the score at 1 goal apiece. Gavin Fleck, though, got the Prowlers back in front late in that opening period from Tucker Scantleberry and Sean Doyle after Scantleberry gave Fleck a nice pass, moving up the ice into the offensive zone. So it's 2-1 after 1. Then the second. Good plays by Ludwig Delstrom and Isaiah Paris set up Daniel Chartrand for his first of the preseason. He made a nice forehand backhand play in front of the cage to give the Prowlers a 3-1 lead. At that point, Mike Wynn with an individual effort driving the net, able to force that puck over the line to bring Motor City back within 1 again. But then late in the period, in the final 2.5 minutes, Elliot Van Orsdel with a turnaround shot at the top of the circles, right in the middle of the ice, through traffic. He got his first of the preseason. That made it 4-2 Port Huron heading into the third. Penalties, something that was a theme for both sides throughout the game, and it came back to bite the Prowlers in the third, as Will Campbell scored a few seconds into a power play, and then with under 9 minutes to go in regulation, and then Clayton Hightower with about 4.5 to play put home a power play marker as well. That sent us to overtime. Nothing solved in OT, and we got to the shootout. Hightower, Wynn, Josh Colton, and Ryan Rotundi all scoring for Motor City in order in all 4 rounds. Daniel Chartrand scored in the first round. Scantleberry stopped in the second. Van Orsdel scored in the third, but Luke James stopped in round 4. So he was unable to continue the game at that point, and the Prowlers fall in the shootout. before we go, let's take another look around the FPHL at the other games going on right now. One of them has gone final as the Watertown Wolves spoil the Binghamton Black Bears banner-raising ceremony behind 2 goals from Shewedin Blacksmith. 5-3 the final in Binghamton. Anton Borodkin made 41 saves as the Black Bears outshot Watertown 44-24 in that game. Meanwhile, the Athens Rock Lobsters are up 2-1 on Monroe in the second intermission. Kaysen Gallant has both goals for Athens. Kyle Stevens, a power play marker for Monroe. They are getting set for period 3 down in Louisiana. How about a comeback over in Wytheville as the Blue Ridge Bobcats have battled back from a 4-0 deficit to tie the game up with the Mississippi Seawolves at 6. That one an exhibition game, but it has certainly been a fun one at Hitachi Energy Center as Kyle Russell has 2 goals for the Seawolves. Noah Hippolyte-Smith, a goal and 2 helpers, while Serturios Kara-Georgis, a pair of tallies for the Blue Ridge Bobcats. That one's coming down late stages, 3rd period. And finally, the other exhibition game, the Danbury Hat-Tricks and Hudson Valley Venom getting set to start period number 3, with the Hat-Tricks leading by a score of 3-1. Well, we invite you again to tune in to our next broadcast Friday, October the 18th. Puck drop scheduled for 7:05 p.m. Pre-game show is starting at 6:50. And we'll be right here on the PHP Network. Of course, that is the Prowlers home opener. So if you can make it to that game, tickets are available at phprowlers.com/tickets. You can also call the box office at 810-985-6166. And you can also get your tickets at the walk-up at the box office. But be sure you get there early before those tickets sell out for the Prowlers' 10th anniversary season home opener. Well, that's going to do it for me here at Big Boy Arena. Prowlers dropped this one by a score of 5-4 in a shootout to the Motor City Rockers, but they'll do it for real on Friday night against the Carolina Thunderbirds. We'll see you then, but for now, have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Will Wiggleman. Thanks so much again to the Motor City Rockers production crew for the camera usage tonight, and we'll see you at home on Friday night here on the PHP Network.
Yeah.